Brace yourself, because we're getting to the roots. Welcome to Behind the Spotlight podcast. I'm Danielle J. Martin, your host for today. And on Overcoming series, we're going to be discovering the past, the present, and the future of individuals who have been through very significant experiences that have shaped them into who they are today. So my guest for today's episode is SJ Hazim.
Yes,
Hello.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome. I'm excited.
I am too.
Okay, so for those who don't know, SJ is a co-founder and manager of Creative Pathways and Means. It's located in Topeka, Kansas, for those who don't know. So kind of explain what that is, everything that you do into that.
So we're all about, just the title, Creative Pathways and Means. So the pathway is the creator's journey. The means is creative development.
Yes.
Now you're probably wondering, what is creative development? It's one of these phrases that we're coining right now because it's not widely used, but it's the umbrella or all-encompassing of personal development, professional development, community development, and just organizational development all in one, because creative development is a lifelong journey, and that's the means. So we got the pathway, which is the creator's journey, which everyone is on, and creative development is where you're developing creatively your entire life.
I like that. That's unique. That's really good.
Well, thank you. We've been working on our phrasing and everything like that, our messaging, because if somebody feels something is not for them, they'll just scroll right past it.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
We're all competing for people's attention right now. So whoever has their message crafted the best and the most creative in ways that it'll relate to the people, then that's how you'll be able to, expand your network.
Yeah, I like that. So many people don't know, but like SJ, you're also known as this like community connector is what I would say. Community connector. You know how to connect people in the community. You also have a nonprofit, right?
Absolutely.
So let's just go into all the things that you do, because I know, like, for those who are in Houston or wherever you're listening to, it may not be a big deal, but like you are a big deal in Topeka. And so I think that's really cool.
I appreciate that. And just to make it, not to spend too much time on talking about all the great things that I've been a part of and been blessed to be a part of. But as far as, I'm a cheerleader. I'm a cheerleader for Topeka, Kansas. That's pretty much what has happened. Started out doing like a clothing line to celebrate community pride. That went to where it went to. It served its purpose. I ended up shutting that down because other things, had a higher demand on what I was trying to do. The nonprofit came about because I didn't see a lot of things happening in the volunteer world, or volunteerism wasn't looking cool.
Right.
For a lot of different people. So we wanted to put a little different spin on it. So we created something called Top Tier.
Yeah.
TEER, as a spinoff on words. And also Topeka, top. I might not have caught that before, but, Top Tier. So we provide volunteer services and things for some of the biggest events in northeastern Kansas, including the Country Stampede and the National NHRA Menards races. So those are a couple of the big things.
Yeah.
And as far as being a connector, there's a lot of different people who will approach me or different people I'll run into. And when they tell me a little bit of their story or what they're doing or what they're trying to do, my mind automatically goes to, well, who could I connect them to? Because if you're familiar with the Strength Finders, my number one skill is activator. So that's my
community
wife,
activator.
Absolutely. I mean, whatever I'm doing, I'm activating. So I actually have to be even careful just knowing myself to where not to activate all the time. There's a time to activate. There's a time not to. So
yeah, no, I love that. And yes, your wife, Miranda Hazim, which is like one of my favorite friends ever. She's beautiful as well. And so you guys kind of have like this dynamic duo in the community, which is like really cool. So we'll definitely put a picture of you guys together on this video.
Well, I appreciate your kind words on that. My wife is definitely my road dog.
Yes. And we'll get into definitely how she has impacted you in your life. And so the beauty about this podcast, you guys, is that this is just where everything just comes off. Like, we're ripping the Band-Aid, we're peeling back. My friend said earlier, like, we're ripping the onion open and just trying to dive deep into who you are and how you can connect with other people, because I think what makes us all similar in life is that we, it's interesting, but we can connect through similar trauma or just experiences that we've been through. And it's like to hear that, oh, you've gone through this, then yeah, like I can relate to you. So everyone is so used to seeing like SJ, the happy person. You also have a unique talent. You rap.
I do.
Yes. We're going to get to some of that too. You're going to do some of that too on this show.
I can.
Which is amazing. So, but yeah, and you have a connection to that. And so I want to get into, first, let's start back with like, who is SJ? Like, if you wanted to explain who you are, let's just dive into that.
You know, who is SJ? SJ is, what am I doing? I'm talking in third person, right?
It's okay. You can talk however. It's fine.
Well, I do that on occasion anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a rapper. You know, that's my excuse for everything. But, you know, really, SJ, I'll start back when I was young. You know, I was a shy child. I was pretty insecure. Didn't have a lot of confidence, you know. 8 kids in my family. I'm the youngest boy. I have a younger sister. My grandmother lived with us, you know. And we came here from, you know, living in Kansas City. My mother's side is from Kansas City, Kansas. Dot to dot. My father's side is from Kansas City, Missouri. And my father's side, and my mother's side is gang related.
Yeah.
So basically, when we moved here and everything, it was escaping some of those influences. My uncle, my father's older brother, Uncle Johnny, he was a hitman early on, and over a misunderstanding and some other things, he killed his own wife, shot her through the door. That was one of the things that moved us here to Topeka. But I had a speech impediment. You know, from first to the 3rd or 4th grade. Yeah. And was in special speech class. And my grandmother was my best friend. So there wasn't when you're a child and your grandmother's your best friend, you're probably not that cool. You know what I'm saying? So I opened up to her all the time. But when she passed away, it was heartbreaking to me. I've never experienced anything like that.
Yeah, because she was your best friend.
Yeah. I'm introverted. I don't really talk to a lot of people, but I opened up completely to her. Yeah. But hip hop kind of took her place as she passed away, and hip hop became my confidant. You know, it also, when I saw breakdancing the first time, it was something that prompted me to want to learn that, because although I had insecurities about being judged and everything else like that, my positive belief in a potential future to what could happen if I learned how to breakdance and move like that outweighed my fear of ridicule and judgment. So SJ is somebody who pretty much came from not believing in himself, not being confident, not thinking that he even belonged here, not thinking he was worthy of love, to somebody now who's a public figure, a public speaker, a connector, and all these other things. So I just want to be an inspiration to the underdog.
Yeah, that was good. That's what I can relate to, is that, you know, you've gone through things that could have impacted you, but you instead kind of taken what has happened, I always say, like, for you instead of to you.
Right. I like that.
You know what I mean? And so I think that you could have taken the things that has happened, and you could have been like, you know what? I'm going to be this angry person, or, you know, whatever. But you know what? I'm going to take it. When you talk about your speech impediment, I think I can relate to that, because there's this thing that when I was younger and like not being able to speak properly. And so there was this thing where I had, you know, less confidence in myself. And then to now want to do a whole podcast and YouTube channel is interesting.
Right.
And now you're in a space where like you're rapping, you're on stages, you're using your voice. So it's like, kind of talk to me about how you took possibly, which is not even a weakness, but something that you've gone through, and now it's your strength. Now it's a part of who you are.
You know, I think that's how it happens. Some things that you may have been weak at these are things that you concentrate more on and hyper focus on, and sometimes it goes to the roof. Like if you've ever noticed people who may have been really small in school or whatever, and now they're bodybuilders.
That's true.
Because they wanted to get big, and now some of the biggest people were the smallest people. Some of the best public speakers were the people who were so afraid of public speaking. Rap is what helped me beat my speech impediment.
Yeah.
I continue to say these words. I continue to do different things. And that was something that helped me begin to voice my words out the right way and everything. And as a rapper, you can pronounce things wrong.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do that now, right?
You have the opportunity, and it's like, okay, he was supposed to say that.
Yeah. So the different things that you struggle with in life sometimes the most are the different things that you actually really begin to develop.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
So that's how I've always kind of looked at it.
Would you say that, and I know there's more to the story, so would you even say that the speaking impediment was the only thing you had to overcome? If so, if not, then what's another big obstacle that you've had to overcome?
So I was born in the FOI Islam. So a lot of people might not know what that is, but that's Fruits of Islam. It was the most I'll say militant form. Now you got the NOI, Nation of Islam, headed by Farrakhan and everything. But my dad was taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and ran with Farrakhan and all these guys during the Black is Beautiful movement. My father was born in 1944. So there was all kind of different things happening out here, that were really bad. This was before the Civil Rights Movement. There's all kind of things happening. So my dad was part of that movement because he wanted to, like I said, his whole family was gang related. He'd rather jump into some religious type stuff that is still militant. But we were being raised in a way to be prejudiced until my dad, his story's like Malcolm X's, until he went on Hajj and saw all these different colors of Muslims who were praising the same God. Well, it broke his heart, and he came back and switched us over to Orthodox Islam. And then that's where all races are welcome and valued and everything like that. They still teach from the Quran. But from that is how I learned that racism is taught. So I had to overcome some different things because there were some things being instilled into me early. But my father is my hero because he was strong enough to raise all of us kids without government assistance or anything like that. Always held a job. Sometimes it was difficult for him to get those jobs, but he did some things that are like off of the movies, to where he went on to a construction site and just put himself over there, got the mortar and everything, and got to telling people to bring him bricks. And the supervisor came over there like, "What are you doing? You need to leave." He said, "I'll outbuild any of your guys here.
Wow.
Bring me some mud." This, that, and everything else. And they bought him mud, and he did what he did and held the job. But there's people aren't operating like that no more. So just overcoming some different things as far as even my name. You're judged for that type of stuff sometimes. People would think I was from Pakistan or some other place just because they'll see me, they'll hear me, but it's the name, and it could, do some different things. So I'll say I haven't had to overcome anything more than the average person in life, but a lot of people don't talk about it.
Yeah. So if you don't mind me bringing this up too, when we had our kind of pre-production meeting, you've even talked to me about some mental health that you've kind of navigated through and how it could have affected you, but you've also overcome that. Kind of touch on those things too.
It's another reason why your boy is ultra positive. When people see me and they talk about it, it's like, "Yes, he's so positive." It gets on my nerves.
I always see you with a smile on your face. There's not one time that I see you and you're just frowning or something's wrong. Even today, you just come in "Hi, what's up?" and then just patiently waiting. And so I just think there's a gift in that.
Well, you have to turn it on. It doesn't matter how you feel. Because nobody cares how you feel. You come into a room or something like that, and you've got an appointment, you got something, you already had it scheduled, you come in with a frown and all the other type of stuff, they're going to ask you what's going on. And if you just want to spell out everything that's happening in your life, everybody's got issues. Everybody's got some problems that they're dealing with. So I would say, like I said, as far as me being ultra positive, I have to be, because I have dealt with mental health issues. I've had some inpatient stays, short term. I've been on pharmaceutical regimens and everything to keep everything where it needs to go. Started for me back in 97. But these things have ran in my family as far as some mental health issues that I wasn't even aware about until I had my bouts with it. So I can be the most pessimistic person on the face of the earth if I'm not being ultra positive, or if I'm not being positive or seeing there's a reward in seeing a positive belief in a potential future.
Definitely.
To being inspired. Being inspired can help with a lot of health and mental health issues, and as far as health issues as well. But what I will say is, me as an artist, having an outlet is one thing that has benefited me, because I can always put things into words.
Yeah.
So
that was my follow-up question, is like, how did you learn how to cope with that? And if you can share with the audience, like, any resources, whether it's therapy or whether it's writing, for you, in a sense, it's like diving into this artistic mode or like space where you can like release. It's like, for you, how did you overcome the just experiences, and not only just mental health, but it could have been the associations with your family, the recent speech impediment when you were younger. So it's like all these little things create who we are: experiences, education, environment. But it's like you've taken it, and it's still like, instead of it's instilled in you, but you still kind of navigated around it.
I feel, I'm a big fan of a lot of people. Miles Monroe's one of them.
Oh my gosh.
So
I just got the chills.
So you're saying some different things as far as like,
yes,
your job and your work. This is one of the things that I love that he had to say. Your job is something you get paid to do. Your work is something you were born to do. So as far as as an artist, one thing that the artist is struggle with, and this is from Baldwin, he talks about it as far as the for integrity. It's the fight for integrity. As an artist or a writer or anything, words are meant to describe what hides underneath the veil, and you uncover it. So it's like every experience in life has been wrote about through an artist, whether it's experiencing death, whether it's experiencing a near death, love, loss, all these different things. They've been put into words from artists, so then we could unify around what that feeling is.
Yeah.
And through that, that's how we're actually able to express ourselves in ways to where we get it off of our chest. Sometimes I'll write something like, if I'm really upset at somebody and I want to write some stuff.
Yeah.
I'll write something to them, but then I'll crumble it up afterwards.
That's a good exercise.
Because
I think that's a real thing.
Because
to do.
it might flatten them, because when you're a wordsmith and you might say some hateful things because you want to get it off of you.
Right.
You got to get it off of you. It's better than to go and shoot somebody or to go fight somebody or do something like that. So you allow your words to do that. So I've learned how to do things like that. Just this week, I'm working on a poem called "Think of Me," because one of my best friends shared with me just this week that he has suicidal ideation and he couldn't leave the house, and I had no idea he was dealing with that.
Wow.
And I think I cried like I was at his funeral while we were on the phone. The next day, he checked himself into the VA psych ward, and he's there right now. But what I told him was, the next time that you're thinking about taking your own life, think of me. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry to honestly hear about your friend, but it seems as if like your rap is your therapy.
Yeah. My writing is definitely my part of my therapy. Even just communication like this. I love doing this. This is part of this. I haven't ever shared my mental health struggles or issues or anything like that.
And because I kind of want to I didn't mean to cut you off, but kind of even dive into that, because I think there's this stigma that, we avoid mental health, especially in the minority community. It's something that you overlook because, we kind of get raised in the thoughts of our parents that what stays in this house happens in this house, or just the idea that, like you mentioned earlier, everyone has something going on. But sometimes I think now we are kind of rising to this surface, into this space in our culture where mental health is being, there's a light being shed on it. And so it's like, for you, what made you say, you know what, I'm not afraid of this anymore? And I think it should be discussed.
You know, because people don't know who SJ is. I'm really tired of people thinking they know who SJ is and they have no freaking idea who I am.
Yeah.
You know, they have no ideas about the things that I've struggled with, the things that I still struggle with. You know, just being ultra positive. That I have to always see the silver lining, because if I don't, I won't see it. And then
you go into this dark space.
I might go into a deep thing of depression.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to have to get back on meds again. I don't have an issue with people who take them, but I haven't had to take them since the late 90s.
Right.
And don't plan on having to get back on them. But and you find yourself where you can't, or you don't know which way is up or anything like that, because there's so much that might be going on, you know, then that's what it is. But I just thought it was time to actually be a little bit more real with the people about some things that I deal with as a person.
They always say that people with the biggest smile have the most things going on. I mean, let's look at, you know, the dancer that just passed away.
Twitch.
Yep. And no one expected that to happen. And he was dancing and he was just like the light of the world. And you just never know what people are going through. And so I hope that people can kind of take it with like a lot of encouragement to always check on people, to say just because they're smiling doesn't mean that they're not going through something behind closed doors. You know, to say, hey, are you okay? Even if you haven't talked to that person in a while, it's like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to show people grace. You know, you have to show people grace. I mean, you know, I'm trying to be better about that and not judge people for something you might not understand.
Yeah.
You might not know what they're going through, because everything that affects somebody directly affects somebody else indirectly. And I mean, and that's just what it is. Whether somebody's is dealing with addiction, well, they're dealing with addiction affecting them directly. Well, the people who love them are dealing with it indirectly, because it might be affecting them financially. It might be affecting their mental health, their peace, their emotional states, and everything else like that. It's just, we're all connected out here. So there's some people who might need to know that somebody like myself has dealt with some mental illness or anything like that, mental health, and found myself on 3 East, Stormontville. Now, if you know what 3 East is, you know. But if you don't, then you don't.
Yes, we've talked about it. Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Wow.
But it's that time, Danielle.
Yeah.
It's that time for us to be real with the people.
Yeah.
So then, therefore, we can really have authentic expressions.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so by the time this episode airs, I think we should be able to talk about it.
I think so.
Okay, so authentic expressions, let's get into that. Like, what is that? Okay, I think I bring it up all the time on this show that we're located in Topeka, Kansas. And so this podcast is not related to OmniCircle, but my partner is leading it. And so SJ is now leading this program called Authentic Expressions. And so you can kind of explain what that is.
Well, you know, Authentic Expressions came about. I'm over here talking to the homie, Michael Odupatan, and I told him I wanted to share a poem with him.
Yeah.
So I did, and then he said, man, I just had a vision. And he wanted to do something that incorporated spoken word right here and get regional people and, you know, really outstanding poets to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, let me go ahead and put a program together. So ended up putting some things together. So Authentic Expressions is going to be something that takes place monthly. It's going to be something that takes place monthly. And it's going to include 4 to 6 poets. And then the co-host will be myself and JQ guests. So that's going to happen. We're going to have a theme for it each month. When it's here at Omni, it's only going to be a capacity for about 30 people. Now, as we scale up and everything like that, this thing can be on the move and go to bigger locations. But we're also going to have creative placemaking in place for this, because any artist who does anything with us, you're going to be able to come to OmniCircle here, 1301 Southwest Topeka Boulevard, and we'll have their information, how you can get in touch with those people and everything else, or even if they have any type of products or things. We just want to make this a place to be able to, because when people are being authentic, people begin to be real.
Being authentic.
You know?
It's the season for that. Let's just stop let's just stop acting like we are okay, like you mentioned,
Right.
and just be who you are and be it unapologetically. I hate saying that word, unapologetically. Like, just do it like transparently, because I promise you, like, you would be received a little bit more if you were just like who you are.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
But I'm excited. Do you have to be like a person that knows how to say poetry and do poetry? Could I get on there? Because I don't know how to sing or do anything.
Anybody can come witness it. But
Okay.
as far as the people who will be
Like performing
it, we're
Okay.
real strenuous on the people
You
who
have to
are
have
going to do
talent.
that. I mean, we don't just want a novice to come
Yeah.
and do that. There'll be time for that.
Okay.
And people who want to improve, there'll be master classes and workshops from the different people who are presenting and stuff like that. Because,
Yeah.
you know, I teach how to, perform. Creative performance is what I like to call these things. Everything is a creative performance. But
Yes.
so from people seeing it, loving it, liking it, and everything else, if they want more of it or they want to learn to go deeper into it, well, that's
Yeah.
what Omni here is here to do. You
Yeah.
know, provide some of those opportunities for people who want to dive a little deeper.
Yeah.
But if you just want to come and witness it, have good hors d'oeuvres and beverages and everything like that, and be around, excellence. then
Excellence,
you definitely
yes.
are welcome to come. But we believe that this is going to be something that kicks some
It's gonna
things
be
off.
good. Yeah, it's gonna be good. So it's interesting because there's a lot of artists out there that I believe are like hiding behind the shadows, like they're not ready to come out yet, And so, like, for you, you're an artist yourself, and so when I asked you, okay, like, SJ, if you were to name this episode, you said it would be like overcoming the artist struggle.
Yes.
What is that?
It comes from Baldwin. And he talks about the artist struggle, and it's the struggle for integrity.
Yeah.
He says, I write because I must write. That's how I feel. I don't have a choice. My biggest thing, my wife would tell you, is I have to feel like I'm heard. So
Yes.
communication is big for me. I need to tell people how I feel. And that's my personal relationships. That's through my That's through my artistry.
Like, you got to let it out somehow.
It's from my artistry and stuff. There's
Yeah.
a lot of different things that I've had to write about. Had a double murder suicide happen to my best man in my wedding and my best friend, both of them were my wedding party. But when that happened, I wrote about that. That I wrote so many songs. I didn't like the first 10, so they just saw the trash. But eventually I got that one.
Yeah.
That I really.
Are you like a perfectionist?
Well, when it comes to expressing myself and wanting to have
Yeah.
the right words, because
You care
once
about
again,
it.
the words uncover what's hidden behind the veil. And when somebody hears that, sometimes it's got to be in the right sequence. It has to be in the right feeling. It has to be in the right spirit.
Yeah.
It has to be the right timing. So, me, just in general, the struggle of the artist is also, it's the whole concept of MEA, which is most advanced yet acceptable, or even most authentic yet acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, I can come on this show, we could talk about mental health, and I'll be like, yeah, I was thinking about killing this dude because he did this, and bam, 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 boom.
My gosh.
That's
Yeah.
that's a little too far on some stuff. But
Yeah.
just, or if a politician is trying to get the black vote, and he comes out and now he got his hoodie up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He got sunglasses on. He using slang.
Yeah.
He went a little too far.
Right.
So the most advanced yet acceptable, most authentic yet acceptable. That's what the artist is trying to find.
Most
They're
authentic but acceptable.
They're trying to find where that's at, because
Right.
if you overdo it, you lose the people.
Yeah.
You underdo it, you never get them. So that's the artist struggle. The artist struggle is finding balance.
Yeah. I think that's a real thing. Even like being a creator, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like having to create and present yourself like authentically in front of the world. And like you said, and do it where you're vulnerable, transparent, but then also you're not too much, because if I'm too much, then people aren't going to like me. So there's a lot of like thought process that goes on in creating. And so
Right.
I think I can relate to that.
Yeah, because when I
Yeah.
say artist, that is a creator. That's all
Yeah.
these other things. So
That's true.
it's
Digital
not
creator.
about right.
If you're
even
creating anything.
anything,
Yeah.
even if you're an accountant. There's artists who are accountants. It's the way that they do it. It's the process they take. It's the fonts they use. It's all these different things.
Wow.
So never sell I don't want anybody to sell themselves short and don't think that they're an artist or think this isn't for them, because anybody who's creating anything is an artist, and you have to find that balance, you know. So
That's
really
good.
it's a struggle. It's like why Van Gogh cut his ear off.
Yeah.
You know, there was some off balance things going on. He's a great artist and everything like that, but you see this through all time. You know, but the artist is so important because nobody portrays the struggle of life and what it is to live, from the triumphs to, you know, the agony of defeat. These things have all been put into words from artists.
So we're all artists, if you think about it. Like, I like how you said that we all have like our own unique, like how we use our hands is what makes us artistic. And I think like that's a real thing. Like this book that I was reading that was like Steal Like an Artist, because we're all really just taking all of these ideas and we're just making it our own. But that's what makes you your own person, is by like how you present it and how you bring it to the surface. So like how you write your words and how you present and perform is going to be different than another artist.
Absolutely.
If you guys were given the same words, okay, make a rap out of X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Like, I think you would come up with two different forms because it's like who you are.
Right. And you know, even how people dress. You know, we present ourselves to the world. That's artistic.
Yeah.
You know, it's just how we do things. And even you know, one thing as far as, you know, like talking to Michael O'Dupiton, he's like, your own understanding, you know, YOU, your own understanding, and how you put your things together, because how we see reality and everything like that, our perspective on it, you know, our personal reality ends up being our personality, which always is one thing.
That's good.
It's one thing that always rises us up, because things can change. You can always put more traits, or, you know, this is why we have mentors. This is why we have people who we're influenced by, because then we put things in our holster that they have said or whatever else, and things like that. And then that helps us develop as a person. Once again, creative development. It's a lifelong journey. So when you see people who inspire you, you know, mimic some of those things. Nobody did Michael Jordan better than Kobe Bryant.
Okay, now you're bringing in a whole nother argument.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. We're not even going to debate that on this show. Kobe Bryant?
No, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is this.
No, yeah, you're right.
You put
And
them
Michael
side
Jordan.
as you put them side
Or
by
LeBron
side,
James.
Right. Well, there's something about Kobe and Jordan, because
That's
what I'm
true.
saying is, I'm not saying that you know, Jordan is who he is, but Kobe drafted off that platform. He moved just like Michael Jordan, because he mimicked Michael Jordan, because you're supposed to draft off of platforms and off the people who are doing things great. So that wasn't a shot to say Kobe was better than Jordan. What I was saying, it was just one of those.
Clarify for the audience before we get people in the comments.
But a lot of people have seen how they both move. And all I'm saying is Kobe drafted off of that Michael Jordan platform to the fact where he did him just like Jordan did him.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay. So before we do leave, I do want people to take some resources and some just tips. And I know you mentioned it before. Like, I really liked your exercise about, like, if you have something to say to someone, like maybe you just write it in a note. And if you find that could help this person, like, any tips when it comes to self-care, mental health, like, what would you advise?
Well, first of all, I'll say this too shall pass. So first and foremost, realize that. Secondly, realize if you just go into a whole panic attack, especially if you're like the leader of your household or anything like that, then everybody else is going to panic. You know, so there's some things you got to kind of hold together a little bit, you know, and through that, that's where you can get into journaling, you know, talk about how you really feel. If it's things like, man, I just feel like I'm never going to get out of this rut. I feel like this, whatever. So from saying some of your real feelings, you can address those real feelings with something positive to where, how can this not be though? What other routes can I take? Because right now I'm scared. There's fear. There's this. I'm just being reactive. I need to be able to pause and think a little bit and get up out of this. You know, that's why sometimes in the eye of the storm, you've never seen clearer because you're in it. You know what I'm saying? And then
That's good.
you got to choose to focus instead of choosing to panic. You know, so these
I feel like you be rapping when you be speaking. I'm like, you're rhyming.
Well,
No, it's
so
good.
that comes back to like gifts and skills. We
Yeah.
going back to Miles Monroe on gifts and skills.
Yes.
Skills are something that you're taught. A
Yeah.
gift is something that you're born with, that you were given.
Yeah.
So even if you get fired from a job because of that skill set's no longer needed, you didn't lose your gift. So, I mean, so
Yeah.
when it really comes down to
That
this
is
whole
true.
thing, I just want people to know that it's not over until it's over.
Yeah.
Because where you get the most help
Right.
is when you're in the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
Where it looks like, I don't know what's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. That
Yeah.
eviction letter could be coming. You know, I don't know if this job is going to keep me. I just got rolled up again. You know, right now my bank account is negative. I don't know how I'm going to eat tonight or anything
Yeah.
like that. But sometimes those are the things that trigger help.
Right.
And sometimes you got to call somebody.
Yeah.
So you can't, you know, you always got to lean on the team. You got to
Right.
lean on the team because the whole team is never all down at once.
Right.
And sometimes you got to reach out to family or different people. Don't stay isolated.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. Don't stay isolated.
Can I just say that, like, Miles Monroe, okay, so he, like, hits near to my heart because, like, first of all, I never knew who he was until, like, Michael introduced me to him. And so I'm like, who is this older gentleman on this TV screen, like, just talking so just confidently and just sharp, like everything that he was saying.
Oh, he's amazing.
Like similar to TD Jakes, but like just a different type of spirit. You know what I mean? And so like going back to what you mentioned about just like your gifts, like he always says that like the richest place in the world is the graveyard.
The graveyard.
You know? Because
Absolutely.
that's where all dreams die.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, so how many of us are sitting around just waiting for something to happen because you're too afraid to produce it? Or you're thinking about the what ifs and the what ifs and what about this? And like just before this episode, we talked about the space of being fearful and like not being ready to create because you want it to be in this specific way. But it's like, if you were to just realize that everything that you desire is around you, and instead of you looking at yourself like, oh, well, I don't like the way that this looks. I don't like the way that this looks. If you start to put in negative thoughts and like, okay, well, everything around you is negative, then yeah, you're probably going to get a negative result. But if you said, you know what, like I have this piece of paper, I have this pen, let me just start writing. Let me start writing the book from scratch. I don't need a computer. You know what I mean? So just like being mindful that like all the ideas that like you want to produce, like it's ingrained in you. And so I think I'm learning that it's like stop looking at your competition and it's like they're not really competition, but just I guess social media, I guess. Like stop looking at the people that are already doing it successfully and look at you and realize that, like you mentioned, like God has given you a gift and it's for you, and you have all the capabilities, you have all the strength to do it. And so it's like, why do we wait until we get older to be like, I'm going to start pursuing this dream when you can start right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, comparisons are the thief of joy. I mean, that's what it is.
That's so good.
It's what it is. It's what it is. You know, somebody is singing, oh, you sound like this person. Somebody
Yeah.
rap, oh, you sound like Bone. Somebody, you know, be dressed up, oh, well, you look like this person. No.
I
look
sound like me.
I look like me. You know what I'm saying?
I sound
move
like me.
You know, I've been
Yes.
influenced by different people and everything else like that. But a lot of times people just want to categorize you
Yeah.
and put you on the shelf.
Yes.
Don't let them categorize you and put you on the shelf because it shouldn't be like that. But yeah, it's a journey. It's a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
As far as just continuing to grow and develop. Once again, I'll drop it. Creative development on the creator's journey.
Yeah.
You know, that's the pathway. Pathway is the creator's journey. The means is creative development.
Yeah.
And creative pathways, it means, and your boy SJ Hazim is here to help.
Do you guys see how he does that? Like, it's a gift. I love it. Okay, so as we're coming to the end of this episode, I do want to say, like, I want to have the audience experience just a little bit more of who you are. So we're going to play, like, a fun this or that game. Are you
Okay.
ready for it? It's
Yeah.
nothing like serious. Okay. Would you prefer sunshine or storms?
Sunshine for sure.
Okay, why?
Because I really don't like the rain.
Me neither.
You know, I mean,
or the winter.
I don't
How
really,
about that?
I don't really go out in it. There's so much more I can do in the sunshine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I understand what rain brings, fresh vegetation and new growth and all that type of stuff. But, you know, everybody loves the sunshine. My life,
Everybody.
my life, my life,
Okay,
my
I
life.
can't sing. I don't know why I'm trying. Anyways, you need some different backup singers. Okay. Would you rather see the future or change the past?
I'd rather see the future. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, because the past, there's so much stuff back there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't even, you know, so I'd rather just see the future because I'm a futuristic person anyway.
Yes.
I'm always
Looking
towards
ahead.
that positive belief in a potential future.
You know, I thought about like, okay, if I did go back in the past, like, what would I change? I think I would just tell my younger version that, like, you got it.
Yeah.
Like, you got it, girl. Like, just go do it.
Yeah.
Like, get out of your head. You know, like, if anything, I just would say that to myself because then I would, like, maneuver a lot differently.
Okay, so if you're asking the question, it's about as far as me, if I change the past.
Yeah.
If I go back, I tell myself, stop trying to prove yourself to people.
That part.
That
Right there.
That would be what I would say because there was a time in my life where I was trying to prove myself to so many people.
Same.
You know, so
Same.
that would be it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we're going to be here forever. All right. So would you rather, okay, this is an interesting one. So would you rather choose logic or emotions?
Oh, logic. Because I've always operated off of emotion. And that's what landed me in so much trouble at different times. Being emotional, you know, getting in my feelings.
Yeah.
Running my mouth reckless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we've all done it. You know, we've all done it.
It's so easy for you to say because I would say I was very emotional. I'm still emotional. So I'm understanding that you have to be logic, yes. But you have to, like, keep in mind your feelings.
I mean, absolutely. I just know I've been overboard.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, and I would
Same.
say I strive to be professional
Yeah.
at this point because being professional will not let, you know, it won't let emotions overcome your intellect. And I know that rhymed too. I didn't try to make it rhyme.
Yes, you did.
But yeah, when you allow that, when your emotions will pretty much dictate, you know, whatever happens to you, when you don't actually intellectually be like, no, you know, because once again, brain over body. You know what I'm saying? If you've got to control different things with stuff, and you know, and we're gonna feel it. We're gonna feel the emotions and everything, but we don't have to let that lead us because then we'll be reacting instead of responding.
Come on.
So
Preaching.
definitely logic.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so you're going to have to be careful with this one. So would you rather split the bill or take turns paying?
I just want my wife to pay for it.
Oh, my gosh. Miranda's looking over here behind the scenes like, what? What did you say?
You know,
I'm just kidding.
If those are
It's different because you're married, but
those are the two choices, right?
It's different.
If those are the two choices, I would just say, would you say split the bill or
it's,
every other time?
taking turns
We'll
paying.
just take turns.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we share bank account and everything else like that. So if those are the choices, it will be that.
It will be that. Okay, before we go, you do have to, like, let me know, too, like, the impact of your wife.
I would not be who I am today without my wife. My wife believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. My wife, I was a man in the house before I was a man of the house. Like there were so many different things that happened when we had met and everything. I mean, for the second time. First time we met, my wife didn't like me. I was pretty conceited and I came off wrong to some of the things I said. I just wanted her to remember me.
Yeah.
You know, but truthfully, my wife is a big reason of who I am today. She made me believe that I could reach further and I could do more and everything like that. And from that, a good woman to change your life, you know, and therefore a good man to change somebody's life as well. So, so I'm very thankful for her and everything. I mean, she's so supportive of everything that I do. She helps me in different instances. She's not afraid to tell me how she feels about stuff, even if she's letting me know that I might be wrong in a situation or whatever, or if I'm right, you know, but she's always been there, right or wrong.
Yeah. I think the beauty about everything you said was just so amazing. But I think what I really admire about Miranda is that we kind of really connected on the sense of like supporting your husband in, I don't have a husband yet, but okay, speaking to existence here, but supporting your partner in a time when you're trying to pursue your dreams as well, and like you have to like sacrifice. And I think like it was so interesting because I didn't think that anyone in my position would understand someone who's very active in like the face of the community. Like you and Michael are very just like out there, and it takes, like you said, a strong person and a strong woman to like support that and like support your dreams even when sometimes we don't know what the heck you guys are doing. Right. You know what I mean? Like what are we doing this month? Oh, okay, that's what we're doing. So it's like people think it's easy to support someone who's very active and an alpha man, very involved in this community. And so I really admire what you guys have. The unity and the strength within your relationship and your marriage is like, it's like one to none.
I really appreciate that. We've been together for, at this point, I want to say we've been married for 20 years.
And it doesn't even look like it. Oh my gosh.
We've been together for 25 years.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at 98.
Okay.
You know, got engaged in 99, got married in 2002.
Yeah.
Just celebrated 20 years last year. We'll be celebrating 21 this year.
Let's go.
You know, and I tell you, the secret to a successful marriage is communication, collaboration.
Yes.
And also
communication.
Sacrifice. You know, and when I say that, you got to be willing. There's got to be give and take.
Yeah.
There's got to be. You know, there has to be.
Yeah.
There has to be compromise. There has to be all those things, but you got to also make sure that you're communicating with your people, you know, and keeping them first.
Okay, I just thought of a really good idea. We're going to have like a relationship episode. We're going to bring you and Miranda back with me and Michael and talk about it all. I think that's going to be,
that would be
a really good episode.
That would be dope. That would be dope.
I'm like, that's going to be some relationship advice. Okay. Do you really want to date the CEO of a company? Okay, let's explain why not.
Now, Danielle,
I'm just kidding.
I know you haven't asked me this, but I think you might be waiting on it. Did they want to hear some bars?
Oh, yes, we're getting to that. I was waiting till the end of the episode. Yes, the end. Okay, so let's see what you got.
Okay, I'm going to share this. This is what I do when I go into a school or anything like that. I paint this picture first. And what happens is when you're dealing with young people, you have to come in with the rap first.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with adults, you come in with the information and you do the rap last. So they can see that all the information is inside of the rap.
Yes.
The kids just want to know that you got gas. They just want to know that you can come do it. So tire squill still pops off. This shot's coming. Glock's busting, leaving the block, and it drops something. Whole block running, they know when the cops coming. First 48 for the Jakes, the clock's running. No snitching, won't turn over, they not budging. They know them killers dip with a stick, never missing a day. Fully modified, clipping the K, the big bully if you get in the way. They on the block like gritting for pay. In the kitchen with their palms itching, raw chickens cooking coke, flipping the J. Hitting corners in the Chevrolet. Dirty deeds for cheese on dirty blocks, the American way. One time hitting the block and double time thugs ditching they rock. 3-time felons hitting the gas and 4-way stop sign they smashing. Ghetto athletes dipping and dashing and whatnot. Catch a $150, a buckshot. No rabbit foot, this where your luck stop. Reality Jack. Block episodes, we know when they must stop. Around the way, girl caught a stray at the bus stop. Seen her life fade, laid dead on the street curb. Now she resurrected by a tat and a t-shirt. And it's a long road, these hard years ain't over yet. Married couples getting divorced over debt. Losing life savings and homes over bets. SRS taking your kids over neglecting. You can get murdered today over a text by somebody jealous who felt you overstepped. People rob their own family over a check. a road rage. You may get shot over a record, over complexion of skin by policemen. They serve and protect, but do protect us. Who gonna police them? The media paints men guilty, you're innocent. Before proving guilty, you're innocent. So in a sense, the TV is the judge and jury and is guilty for taking our innocence.
Dang, drop bars. Drops mic. That's it. Boom.
Boom. So that's just a picture of.
All right, you guys, that's all for Behind the Spotlight podcast. We appreciate you tuning into this episode. We'll see you next week.